So welcome to End Times Tracker once again, and thanks for watching the series that my wife Donna and I put together. And also a big thanks goes out to Benji, who is our church media expert. Without him, none of this would be possible. So we're going to start having 5 to 10 minute bi-weekly sessions on end times and what's going on in the news to try to keep up with the ever-changing landscape. And again, I invite you to correspond with me via email if you have any comments or concerns about the subject that we're talking about, and possibly the biblical overtones as you see them. In episode 8, we discussed the Four Horsemen. And at that time, we talked about possibly Turkey, Iran, China, Russia as being the possible horseman that's going out as a conqueror. It doesn't say he conquers. It just said he goes out as a conqueror. And that's in Revelation chapter 6, verse 2. Lately, I've been looking at the news, and suddenly a new person, a new country, a new idea has come up in my mind, and that is United States. Who would have thought a year ago that the United States would have any kind of expansionist ideology? And yet now that is what we're seeing. We're seeing that possibly he's going to be taking over Greenland, or he's already possibly taken over Venezuela. I saw a picture of the map of North America and South America the other day, and it was an American flag draped over almost all of it, including Canada. We don't know where he's going and why he's doing what he's doing, but he certainly right now is going out as a conqueror bent on conquest. Daniel 9:26 says, "The end will come like a flood." And so 2025, there were a lot of things that happened, but I'm expecting 2026 to even be more volatile. More changes, more things going that we can say, hey, this, I think, has something to do with end times. So Trump was elected with a promise to make America great again. I think that most of us thought he was talking about internal changes. But maybe he was referring to something far bigger than just internal changes. He's elevated his role concerning Gaza, not now just trying to have Gaza, the Hamas in Gaza being weapons taken away and the terrorism stopping, but now he's talking about having a board, and who is going to be the president of this board? Well, it sounds like Trump. And so around the world, we see him gaining a lot more momentum and talking a lot more like almost a dictator. Revelation doesn't say, as I said before, it doesn't say that he goes and he conquers. It just says he goes out as a conqueror, bent on conquest. In reading the Bible, in the Old Testament, God used two ungodly men. They weren't Jews. They were Persians and Babylonians, by the name of Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar, and King Cyrus. Now, neither knew God or much about God before they came in contact with the Jews and before God came in contact with them. But even when they were not believers in God, when they haven't heard from God, God already had a plan. He had a design to use these ungodly people for his will. In Jeremiah 25:9, God calls Nebuchadnezzar my servant. And in Isaiah 44:28, God calls Cyrus my shepherd. During President Trump's first term, which began in 2017, he moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Now, that was a very, very important and very significant development. Many presidents over many years have said they were going to do it, they would think about it, and it's never been done. No one has ever gone through doing it. But when Trump got in there, within a very short time, he had not only made the decision, but actually moved the embassy for the United States to Jerusalem. Now, this is vitally important because what he was saying to the Jewish people is, Israel, the capital city of Israel is Jerusalem. And that emboldened the Jewish people. And so now they have their capital as they've always wanted. The The Sanhedrin minted a half shekel with the bust of Trump imprinted over the bust of King Cyrus from the Old Testament. And a lot of Jewish people refer to Trump as the King Cyrus of our day. Now, perhaps Trump will be instrumental in helping to build a third temple, just as Cyrus was in the Old Testament, helped the Jewish people build their temple. And then I started reading about Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel. And I found that Nebuchadnezzar and Trump have a lot in common. In Daniel 2:47, Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged God. And Trump often acknowledges God in his speeches and in the actions that he does. He considers himself to be a believer. Now, some of us might differ on that point of view, but he himself does call himself a believer. In Daniel 3:1, Nebuchadnezzar starts to show pride in his life. He starts to be talking about himself a lot. And he built an image for people to bow down to. Now, it doesn't say the image was of Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't say that it even resembled a man. It just is called an image. And he wanted people to bow down to it. And when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't, he became very upset. Now, Trump has built a ballroom, and some of the media is calling that as sort of like Trump's ballroom. But Trump also has planned an arch de triomphe, similar to what they have in France. And it will be known, it'll go down in history as Trump's arch. So again, he's doing something that King Nebuchadnezzar has done. And pride is starting to show up in Trump, not only in what he's doing, but if you listen carefully to him, he uses the word I a lot. And he takes credit for things that have happened that, yes, he had a role in it, but a slight role in it, and yet he attributes all of these successes to himself. Nebuchadnezzar used anger to get what he wanted. And so when the three lads, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, did not bow down before it, he became very, very angry and ended up throwing them into a fiery furnace. Now, Trump often uses anger in his negotiations, or if he wants to punish someone via the media, you can hear the anger in his voice. He uses it often in negotiating with Gaza and the board that he is putting together. He's used his anger on Iran, and we're not sure what's going on right now, but we know that there are ships sailing, military ships sailing towards Israel. We know that there are jet planes, and we know that Trump has said he will do something for the Iranian people. He certainly showed his anger at Venezuela, went in there and took out the president, who I agree should not have been the leader of the country. But he came in and he did it. He's angry at the United Nations, and he's now taken and pulled out of 66 world organizations because he doesn't think that they're doing the right thing. Some people even think that the board he's putting together to do with Gaza is much more than that and may be a replacement for the United Nations. Time will tell. Daniel was a godly man, and he advised King Cyrus. He was his advisor. Trump has a godly man advising him. Lindsey Graham is very close to Donald Trump, and he has Donald Trump's ear, and you see them often together. So God used Nebuchadnezzar to help his people, the Jews. After his reign had ended, it wasn't very long before Babylon completely disintegrated and were no longer a world power. Persia became the world power. So I'm watching Donald Trump. If indeed he looks a lot like King Nebuchadnezzar, is it possible that God is using Trump not only to help his people, but he is also using Donald Trump to eventually bring down the United States and have the United States collapse? Over the next little while, as we watch the Davos negotiations that are going on, as we watch his negotiations with Greenland, with China, with Russia, with all the different countries, will the world turn against him? And will somehow it fall back on the United States, causing its collapse and downfall? Time will tell. Post me a comment via email and just let me know what you think is going to happen. And thanks for watching. I will be posting updates and interesting tidbits every couple of weeks. Also, remember to hit the subscribe button and the like button to let me know that you are watching. This is End Times Tracker signing off. God bless.